All right, good afternoon. It is May 19th, 2022, and we pretty much had a range day. The way I saw it was here's the overnight highs and lows in yellow, and then it looked like we were potentially operating in this smaller range, but prices broke out of that range at tested the highs, made a new high, and then found support at the opening price, went a little higher, and now you can see they're selling off. So let's take a look at these trades. So I think 5 o'clock comes in somewhere around here, and you get this first entry, failed second entry. I just marked it aggressive. It's like a 10-point bar, so you probably don't want to take that. Yeah, and then I do think prices were operating in this channel. I mean, you can see we get confirmation right here. So you do get a first failed second entry short off of that channel, and that looks pretty good. I marked it because it looks congestive. I think if you saw this channel, I think you can take that. You can see a lot of people like that. Let me zoom in. So prices start working up in that channel. We get an overshoot. It leads to a break, and we get a second entry. And normally, I might be a little wary of these when look, we have like a triple, quadruple top and then a break of the channel. But I don't know. This just looks like a really good setup. It's not too far. Your entry price wouldn't be too far from the EMA. There is a lot of room up. And that was a pretty good move up. So I like that. You got a higher low right here. I think that's kind of pushing it a little with all this congestion. But because the higher low isn't like off a trend channel, it's just off the EMA. And I do think that prices worked up in this yellow channel. And I think we just get a little bit of, I think actually this should probably be a little steeper like that. And you can see we come up short of the channel right here. And that leads to a break. You get a second entry long, but it's just in no man's land and it's congestive. So I don't know. I just thought I'd mark it though. Yeah, and then we make this high. And it'd probably feel pretty reasonable. This is a really, yeah, now that I see that, there's a lot of people here who are probably looking to just test these highs. But I do think we hit this measure move. We went a little further and then we turned down. So I'm looking at this. This is a really nice trap. All those things, I'm really noticing how good of a trap it is now. So draw this trend channel, and are we in no man's land? I'm pretty confident that this is the channel. You see the midline tested right here, right here. Does the second entry long look good? Yes, it does. But look, we went through the EMA. There's a hint. There's a clue. It's right into the midline. There's a clue. We hit the measure move. There's a clue. So I think for an advanced chart reader, I am not an advanced chart reader, but I think this is a high quality trap. You can see the floor just falls out right there. So I changed it to a red from a green. And that creates a very strong channel down. This is very far from the EMA. And then we get this range down here, and we make a double test with a really nice signal bar. I think there's enough room to scalp out here. So 79, yeah, there's enough room. Make the leg up, come down here, test the EMA, no setup. Very strong leg up here. And they probably, yeah, they're just chopping people up here. Second entry doesn't get triggered right here. And we get an overshoot that leads to a break. No new low yet. But really, I think this is just a correction. So we're looking for probably a new high from this channel. But we already got that. So maybe just another leg or something. I don't think you can enter on this, though. It looks good. And on some people's chart, I'm sure it looked good. But we come back, test this high. go a little further, but not before slingshotting back. And when you get this first entry, failed second entry, that looks exactly like this, but even a better looking setup. So you got to take that, and that's probably the trade of the day right there, 11. So you could have easily had like 13 points there. They probably stopped you out on these bars, but unfortunately that doesn't look like anything. First entry, second entry, and you get this lower high, and I think that's good enough for a scalp. I actually meant to mark this green, but you can see prices failing to break higher. We have resistance at the midline. It's a double test, but and a second entry short, but the signal bar is no good. You can see that double test on the midline of the overnight highs and lows. And so when we get this lower high, this is a very bearish bar. It's definitely green though. This should be green because of the lack of space between here and the lows, 86.75. Yeah, you only have 3 ticks there, so that's aggressive. But we do get a scalp out of that. Not seeing anything in here. This is very choppy. You could see a level of resistance right there. Maybe it's right there. And so this is like a double test, like a triple test with a lower high, and you have this breakout. So I do like this trade. But you can see it, then it bounces. First entry failed, second entry too steep, too far away from the EMA. And we come up, we break out. We make a matching high with a very bearish bar, so you might consider that, but you're probably better off waiting on a new high and a lower high after that. But look, we make a matching high, and then you get a beautiful lower high right here anyway. I think that's worth the risk. And you can see probably a lot of traders thought that was worth the risk. That's a really good trade. First entry, failed second entry short. Just with the way this sets up and it's off the trend channel, I think you can take this. But look, doji, it's tough. I marked it blue. We'll see what Mac has to say. Then we come up, we make a lower high. Boom, the floor falls out. First entry, second entry short. Me in real time, to be honest, I probably would have missed this because I'd be too frustrated with this failure being too far from the EMA. So look, that's a second entry short. Then you get a lower high here, but you're going into these swing lows. First entry, second entry. This, especially at this after this big move down, you might take this, but it just looks like we're in. Well, I mean, if you draw it, we're not in that. We're actually outside, and we made a new high. So you might take that, but it's a doji. It's tough. This doesn't really look like we made a new low. I think the better entry is right here, and look, it just gets you a scalp. That's it. 93.25. There's room to scalp out. I think you can take that. First entry, second entry. That one's far enough from the EMA. You could see the corrective channel. I think with room, I like this one, honestly, better than this one. But it's also like a repeat pattern. I don't know. First entry, failed second entry. There's overlap here. It's very choppy. We're not sure what's happening. But I looked at this as a spiking channel. You get a break and then a second entry. That closes below the EMA, so I don't really like that too much. I'm not crazy about it, but it is a second entry. And then all this craziness rockets up, and we form this this pink range. And you get a second entry right here. I think technically it's a third entry, but this looks like a second entry and a double test of that price level. So I like that. And then we're just going back and forth, and you get another second entry off that price level again, which is the midline. And we move up, but I don't think there's a way to get in that. High or low, I don't think you want to take that. This is the second entry. So you might consider that. This is the second entry, and it doesn't set up for us. This is a high or low. Then we come up here and look. When you are it's been ranging all day, and you just made a new high, and you made a lower high, and you didn't test the EMA, and then you make an even lower high, which is a very bearish signal bar, and you haven't tested the EMA. I'm going to take that. In that context, I think that's a great context to go short right here. So yeah, and I think that brings us to 1230, and this is too far from the EMA. So that's how I saw it today. I hope everyone had a great day. I'll be back tomorrow.